Okay, so this is the walkthrough for homework 5. Again, I'm going to have your data in the same folder as your Python code, and I'm going to just show you the process I would expect you would go through if you're doing your homework. So let me first show you what's going to happen. So I'm going to run this. You can use, different software, of course, but I'm going to probably use idle to test your code. So even if you just have a copy of idle sitting around and it's not what you usually use, it's probably not a bad idea to use idle and make sure your code runs as expected. And so I literally just took the homework instructions right here and I just commented out everything that was not code and to see if it would run, okay, and maybe fix any typos or whatever. So you're going to get your code to a certain point where at least it runs. And as you're writing your code, write a couple lines, run it. Write a couple lines, run it. Write a couple lines, run it. Don't wait to the end to look for your typos. Okay, and so this is what it should look like at this stage in the process. Everything should run clean. Your graphics should come up, and at this point, you're not getting any numerical results other than the graphics, but the graphics should all run clean and everything should come out without any error messages. So this is what you get. This is this first stage, and I'm just calling this no echoes because notice there's no echoes. We only got the graphic content, okay? And so to save time, I just did this process and saved it off at certain stages. Okay, so the difference between the last file and this file is I went through and just made sure the steps were numbered. So number 1, 2, 3, that you could see all of those numbers come out so I could tell if the code does crash, I know where it's crashing, I know why it's crashing. So you're not only running the code, you're not only having internal comments, but it's also it's echoing back to you, telling you what it's doing. All right, so all the way through until you're done, there you go. Okay, so there you see it. That would be stage 2 where you just have started making echoes. Now, you want to fully make echoes. So some of these things don't require echoes, like the pie chart is graphical, histograms and box plots are graphical, so they don't require an echo. So then you go to the next stage where you work through this and you want to put echoes on everything that is not graphical. So in this case, I'm even starting with a little header. I'm going to spit out a header so I know, like, this is my, let me just minimize some of this so this is easier to see. I'm going to put, I'm going to run this, and notice it's giving me something. First it's telling me I'm making sure making sure the data set came in correctly, so I'm just printing out the headers there. There's my first figure, and so forth. So notice that if I just look at what's happening here, number 2, recoding variables did not require any kind of echo. Creating subgroups did not require an echo. But in step 4, I did look at the 2 subgroups, so I can see the count for one is 299 and the count for other is 204. The count for the whole set was 503. So I'm printing out some stuff so that it's clear what's going on, right? Like, so for 6, I'm printing out some of the stuff that I do in step 6, right? So if it's a graphical thing, then you don't need to echo anything. If it's a non-graphical result, you need to gift wrap that so that I can see what's going on. Again, I'm going to see all your graphics and I'm going to click them away like this. And when I'm done, I'm going to scroll up and make sure that all the non-graphical content has been properly echoed like this. Okay, so that's just, it doesn't have to be fully detailed, but it has to be enough so that if something goes wrong, I can go back at your code and figure out, hey, everything was fine except for this block, for example. And if I have trouble with that block in your code, I'm going to do something like this. I'll put a triple quote in that block like this and see if I can run your code without that block if your code continues to run. So sometimes you'll have an error that's only isolated because it's some kind of typo, like you gave the wrong name of a variable or something. And sometimes an error is only relevant to that block of code. But sometimes the error percolates through the entire code, and once you hit that point, nothing else runs. So as I'm grading your homework, I want to know where it's jamming up. And there's also line numbers. Okay, I'm also going to look at the line numbers, and I'll try to deactivate a chunk of the code to see if I can get the rest of your code to run without the offending piece of code. Okay, but maybe 50% of the time or more, if something derails, usually that student, the rest of the homework is usually messed up as well. It's just Murphy's Law, I guess. Okay, so, and then when you turn in your homework, again, if you are reading directly off of a stable web repo, then you do not need to include your data, but the vast majority of people will need to submit a copy of their data so that I can read it in, so that I can grade your homework. Okay, and hopefully that walkthrough was helpful to you.